Hey guys, today is a new what if called What If Naruto Was a Villain. So let's get into this. So, Naruto is going to be the son of All for One. No, he's going to be the son of All Might. But in this one, All Might and All for One are going to be brothers. So yeah, so All Might is the first user of One for All. Basically, everything is just wow. And all the stuff from All for One Living Forever, that's not real. Basically, All for One is the same age as All Might because they're twins. Sorry if you hear it cut out, but anyway, let's get back into this. So yeah, so Izuku is born. He's born, and he is born with a twin sister named Izumi. Sorry, I have to pause again. I'm eating. I'm back. But anyway, let's get into this. He has a twin sister, and this will also be neglected. What if? Because for him to be a villain, he used to be neglected. Anyway, so we skip to the age of 4. At the age of 4, Izumi and Izuku would be in the car, decided to go figure out what their quirk is. So they'll reach the quirk doctor. They'll be jumping around, very hyperactive. Izuku and Eiko say, "You need to stop that or we're gonna leave." And they would stop instantaneously in their spots and would stop doing that. So they would go into the quirk doctor, and the quirk doctor would have a quirk that allows them, if he touches a person, he'll be able to know the quirk of that person is. So he would touch Izumi and Izuku at the same time. He would touch Izumi first and say, "Ma'am, your daughter has a very powerful telekinesis quirk and a strength enhancement quirk. With her telekinesis, I suspect if she could train it a lot, she could probably move a building. And her strength quirk, if she trains it a lot, she can destroy a building." And Iko will be happy, and she'll say, "What about Izuku?" And he will go put his hand on Izuku. Instantaneously, he will break it out and start sweating. And then she will ask him, "What's his quirk?" He will say, "His quirk is called All for All. It's like the famous villain's All for One quirk. I diagnosed it back in the day. But this one's different. Izuku, please materialize the thing you've been thinking of this entire day." And he will materialize a Rubik's Cube. And he will say, "Okay, so that Rubik's Cube will be the key to his power. He can use it. If he solves it, he can basically create a quirk of his choosing. But also with it, he can steal quirks, and he can also use it. He can also transform its shape. And he also has a smoke that allows him to steal quirks. And when he steals the quirks, and the gas is invisible, but when he steals the quirks, it makes a copy of that quirk and gives it to the person, so they never even felt that they lost it." And Iko would be surprised and say, "Damn, villain, how are we gonna get money off of you?" And she will grab Izuku's hand very tightly and rip him out of the quirk doctor's hands, and they would start going. The quirk doctor would be like, "Oh my god, I've seen this happen too many times. I'm gonna go tell the mayor, the president, about this. We need to have equal rights for quirkless people." And well, that'll be that. So they get home. When they get home, All Might is there. Izuku and Izumi don't know All Might's their father. And when they get there, All Might's like, "Young Izuku, young Izumi, I am your father." They'll be happy and be excited until Inko would say, "Toshi, our son, he has the quirk of your brother All for One, but more advanced. He's gonna become a villain." And All Might's smile would turn to a frown, and he would say, "Go up to the room. I can't believe I birthed a useless son like you." And Izuku would go to his room crying. And All Might and her would grab Izumi and say, Izumi, we're gonna celebrate your quirk. And she'd be like, what about Nissan? And she'd be like, Nissan's a villain. Nissan, and they'll be like, Nissan doesn't want to come with you today. And she would go. So, later. Over the time, Izumi's become a brat. And she does bully Izuku for having a villainous quirk. But, more along the lines of Bakugo bullying. She bullies him because he doesn't want him to go become a hero and get himself killed. Or persecuted because he has a villainous quirk. So yeah, that's the reason. Okay. One day, when they were in middle school, Izuku had enough and would run out the class. He'll run and run and run until he made it to a city part of town and go into a building. There, he would see All For One. All For One would look at Izuku and would instantly know that that's his nephew. All For One would walk up to him just to make sure and place his hand on his head, not to see his quirk, just to figure out, and he'll say, nephew, so it's you. Izuku would be like, how do you know? Izuku, so it's you, my nephew. He'd be like, how do you know my name? And he'd say, I am your uncle. I am All For One, the #1 villain. And he'd be like, #1 villain, what's your quirk? He'll be like, the same as yours, but weaker. And in this storyline, All Might is evil. All Might framed All For One into being framed All For One, and that's the reason why it's perceived as a villain. He was framed. Originally, he wanted to be a hero, but All Might caused him not be able to do that. So he's gonna be like, how do you have my quirk? I guess the doctor did say that, but why are you a villain? And he would tell the same thing I just told you. He would be like, damn you, Toshinori. He would get burning hatred for All Might. And All For One seeing this would say, Izuku, how about I train you to become the next #1 villain? And Izuku would accept, leaving Izumi and everyone in class and to never be heard from again. For now it's missing. And we time skip to the 3rd year of UA, the last year of UA. Why am I doing it at the last year instead of every year after? Because Izuku was training all those years. So, and all the major events, all the events didn't happen yet. Everything went normal because All For One was busy training him, so he didn't order Shigaraki do all the stuff. Or Shigaraki didn't even come up with the plans because he knew Izuku was literally trained. So, the USJ, they would send them to the USJ and say, okay kids, today is the unforeseen training joint, or the USJ. And they would go inside with 13, and 13 would tell them about quirk safety until they would hear screaming. They would look down and they would see a person dying and getting basically experimented on. And this would be Izuku, who's covered in blood, and with it he would say, inject. As the person would turn into a Nomu, the Nomu you saw from the original, and the portal will open and they'll say, dang Izuku, you're bloody. Izuku would take off the coat he had that was white. He'll say, Nomu, go kill those brats. The Nomu will go towards them and start to fight them. This Nomu's different though. This Nomu is stronger than any other Nomu than before it. This Nomu could fight All Might, could fight as strong as All Might in his prime, but could not beat All Might. He's as strong as him when he's using 50%. And right now, if All Might uses 100%, he would be able to make the Nomu kill the Nomu because the Nomu's not that strong. So yeah. So Ida would try to run out because they came up with a plan, but Kurogiri would just create a warp gate and warp them into the flood zone and all those zones. Izuku will go to Kurogiri and tap him And Colgary smog will literally come off instantaneously, but then come back on instantaneously. Colgary could say, why did you copy and steal my quirk from your master? He'd be like, because I wanted to use it, because I think it's a neat quirk. As he will create Warp Gate and go straight to, the fire zone. The fire zone. Guys. So guys, wait a second. Wait a second. Right now, I'm gonna just wait a minute. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So they would go to the shipwreck zone, as you can see from the picture. So, Izuku would go to the shipwreck zone using Warp Gate, and when he warped onto the boat, we would see Katsuki Bakugo, Izumi, and Todoroki, because Todoroki knew him back in the day with ability too, because All Might will send them all to prestigious schools because he saw potential in Bakugo and Izumi, and he's the best friend of Izumi, and Izumi has a crush on him. Yeah. Anyway, so when they see Izuku, they will be surprised. Bakugo, Izumi especially, and she'll run to him, try to hug him, but Izuku just phased right through her. Would just make a warp gate and make the warp gate just make her go back to the place he went. Izuku will say, "No hugging me. No hugging me. I hate you with a burning passion, Izumi." Izumi would get broken by this, because the reason she did everything because she wanted Izuku to be safe and not to be persecuted. She said, Izuku, I'm sorry, it's just I wanted you not to get hurt by everyone else because you have a villainous quirk. It would be like, so even you thought I had a villainous quirk, huh? That just makes my role as a villain even more better, because I don't have to deal with you guys. Izuku say, and I'm not holding any punches, Izumi. Let's fight. So they would start to fight. Izumi would try to use her telekinesis to try to finish it quickly and make his hands go behind his back, but Izuku would just use warp gate and just jump into a warp gate, making him go above her, and would use pyrokinesis to make fire go down on her. But she would use her telekinesis to create a barrier of such to make sure she doesn't get hurt. She'd be like, Izuku, I want to fight you. He would say, well, I want to. And he would go and punch her, and she would fall, and she would skip on the water like a pebble, and land on the ground, knocked out. Izuku would see Todoroki and Bakugo, and he would say, now that I've knocked her out, I can now get to my real fun, because I know my sister only wanted the best for me, so I won't put that hard on her. But you guys were just plain evil, so get ready to die, you pieces of filth. And he would go and use a regular teleportation quirk and teleport right to the next, grab it, and choke them in the water. They would start to drown, and he would say, Izumi would get sad if I killed you, so Izuku would bring them up for air, and they would start gasping for air, and then he would just put them back in there. And for the entire USJ, he would just keep on doing this, and he would torture them, basically. Izumi would wake up at the end of it, and Izuku would see that, and he would say, time to go, and he would throw them right into the water, and they would swim up battered and bloody, and the water would start to turn red from the blood that they were getting out. Izumi would bring them to Recovery Girl, and Yue would get full notice. But now that this has happened, this cannot be ignored. So Izumi would go straight to their parents, and well, it would happen. So, this is what would happen. She would say, Mom, Dad, Izuku, he's alive. And they heard that. They would, what? Izuku went missing. He couldn't be alive. That brat couldn't be alive. He would say, no, he's a villain now. He's a villain now. And they were like, a villain? This is bad. Even how much we hate that brat, we both know. We all know how strong he is if he was a villain. And they'll say, we need to get him back before he causes any damage. And plus, with all the quirks he's stolen, he can be a great money maker. And yeah, so they would try to find him and start an investigation. But Izuku, little did they know, would come back and often would be like, so nephew, how did it go? Did you relieve some steam after being mad? He'd be like, yes, I'm cool, but I still have some rage left. Next time I won't be so easy on them, and we'll just bring them back to the love base to torture them. And often be like, if that happened, I'm pretty sure you will break their minds, considering how you create the Nomus. Izuku be like, yeah, I know, but anyway, let's go, and I need to go into the lab. And Izuku goes into his lab that All-For-One prepared for him. Izuku will get on a doctor's coat and get a scalpel with a person who has no amnesia and aesthetics and start to do surgery on him. He will replace his entire body with mechanical parts without anesthesia, and he will create a new type of Nomu. This will be Metal Nomu. A Nomu whose skin is metal, whose brain is protected by a metal seat, and is overall a better model, and tougher and harder to break. Izuku would say perfect. But if I can do this with metals, maybe I could. And Izuku gave an idea. He would get the hardest and toughest material he knows. A material he created while messing around with chemicals and atoms. This being Metal X. Metal X is a metal that's indestructible and the melting point is being inside the sun. And for it to be break, the sun has to explode on it. No, the melting point is the sun, and for it to explode, you have to drop a building on it. So he'll put it on there with the regeneration and fortification and shock absorption. So all of that will be working in Izuku's favor for this Nomu. So they would go and he would go out the lab and go and wash and take a shower and throw away the surgical outfit and wash the scalpel and put back all the stuff, and he would tap the Nomu and give it all the quirks, and he would name this Nomu Operation Dead Might. And this Nomu is different from all other Nomu. It's more like an assassin than an actual Nomu. It is stealthy and has the body of a human, but it's like an assassin. And for you to get how he looks, I'm going to pull up a picture. So this is what the Nomu looks like. Yeah. So as you can see, Nomu looks really strong. Izuku would Izuku would test the Nomu by fighting him. The Nomu would get Izuku to half of his power. Izuku would be like, this is perfect. They would say, you know what, scrap Operation Dead Might. I'll make this my personal bodyguard. And he would come and he would All-For-One who he's created. All-For-One be like, nephew, this is perfect to kill all my instantly. The heat. He was saying, no, I'm using him as my bodyguard just in case. He'd be like, a bodyguard, I guess that's good too. Just in case you get captured, he can always just rescue you and kill everyone there. He'd be like, yes, that's the point. But anyway, tell me, what is the preparation for, tell me, what are we gonna do next? He'll say, well, we're gonna start recruiting some more people. Shigaraki has 2 people lined up. Their names are Dabi or Toya Todoroki, and Toga or Himikoto Toga. And he'd be like, Uncle, can you send me their file? And everyone who has a file on everyone would give Isuku a file. This would show their name of the person and everything about them. But this is the end of part 1 of this. Bye!